So far, you've seen us demo a lot of things on a desktop computer. But you're not always at your desktop. In fact, as we all know, many of our most creative ideas happen away from the office, on a plane, riding the subway, or the middle of the night. How great would it be to have Photoshop available anywhere inspiration strikes you? Well, there have been many attempts and hacks to open Photoshop files on the go, but they have never been dependable or powerful. We have launched plenty of apps with Photoshop-like features, but we've never been able to offer real Photoshop beyond the desktop. But what if we could? What if you could start a project on your desktop and then add more layers, effects, and brushstrokes during your commute? What if your favorite brushes, controls, and features were always available to you? What if every time you opened your project, no matter where you were, it reflected your latest changes, no matter where you made them? That would be amazing. And it used to be a pipe dream, until a small group of ambitious Adobe designers and engineers started a skunkwork project a few years ago. Their crazy idea: take the core Photoshop engine and its nearly 30 years of code and put it on an iPad. This would have been impossible without the evolution of the hardware and a tight partnership with our friends at Apple. It required intense engineering feats until we ultimately achieved proof of life in the labs. And it required a massive effort to develop an entirely new suite of services, gestures, and interfaces. And today, we are thrilled to give you a preview of Photoshop on the iPad coming in 2019. I have goosebumps a little bit. This is not a watered-down version of Photoshop. This is real Photoshop, and that's what Jenny Lyell is about to show you. Jenny.
Thank you, Scott. I am thrilled to be here today with all of you. And it is an incredible honor to represent the great Photoshop team here. Now, as Scott has mentioned, this is not a Photoshop-like application made for the iPad. This is real Photoshop on the iPad. So now I've got the iPad open, and I'm going to open up Photoshop. And I want to tell you, this is the Photoshop code base, so it opens up PSDs. There's no imports, there's no conversions, this is not a rendition, this is a PSD right here. And we've really thought through the design. So on the left-hand side, you've got your core iconic Photoshop tools, and on the right-hand side is a very minimal layers pane, so you can keep your eyes on the canvas. But sometimes I do want to get deep into my layer management, and all I have to do is take 2 fingers and pinch to zoom it open, and now I've got full detailed layers. All the naming, thank you. All the hierarchy, everything is here. And in fact, I could get even deeper and access layer properties here for every single layer. So we've designed this with scaffolding in mind so you can see what you want to see when you want to see it. Now, behind the scenes, we've really focused on power and performance. So this document is actually 208 layers deep. And in fact, we could have as many layers here as we have on Photoshop Desktop. This navigation is super seamless, fun to scroll, and the same power goes for the canvas. I could pan in, I could zoom around, it's buttery smooth. I could even get down to the very last pixel, let's grab this star here, and make an edit on a single pixel if I wanted to. Again, it's just Photoshop and it's just a PSD, which means I could take the same document and open it here on my desktop. Same layer hierarchy, nothing's changed, same resolution. Now let's hop over to New Project and start something here. So I've got something here, and any edits that I make on desktop can be made available on all my devices through Creative Cloud. So I'm going to throw in a couple of meteors and grab a galaxy while I'm at it, and then paste it in. And with Creative Cloud, once all my documents are there, I could go to any device that has Photoshop and open it where I left off. So here, opening up the document, and as much as I love the desktop, I'm no longer tethered to my desktop. So, yeah, amazing. Because this is just Photoshop, all my tools here work and operate just as I would expect. So let's go ahead and do some editing. I'm going to take this foreground, hide it a bit because I want to create a full moon here. I'm going to grab my selection tool. And we're not giving you a truncated version. You get the full advanced capabilities. So now I could feather the border of my moon, soften it a bit, and lock the ratio. So now I could create a perfect moon here. Now, we thought about something called context-aware UI. So these bottom selection features only show up after I've made an active selection. And it gives me fast access to operations I do commonly, such as inverting and masking the selection. And when I'm done, it just disappears out of my way. But my favorite context-aware UI is something we call the touch modifier. This little guy down here. So I've got my Photoshop brush, and what this guy lets me do is toggle between tools so I can keep my eyes focused on the canvas. Now here, I'm going to create a couple of craters with my Photoshop brush. By the way, it's the same brushing engine. The Apple pencil is super pressure sensitive here. It's very fun to play with. And once I've made one too many craters, I simply hold down and erase these marks. I could redraw them, and my eyes are kept on the canvas. And because it's context aware, when I hop over to a new tool, it switches the operation here. So now I'm going to grab my little lonely alien and create a little entourage for him. Let's bring back the room here. And there you have it. All of our desktop interactions have been carefully thought through to be optimized on the iPad. And just to recap, we started this project out on the desktop, it's seamlessly synced, and we finished it here because it's Photoshop. So I'm going to finish with one more project and show you the power of the layer capabilities. I've got two ordinary images here, one of jellyfish I got from Adobe stock, and another I took on a hike. And I want to blend these two together in a surrealistic scene, and I'm going to grab my handy Photoshop blend modes here, and with one tap, I've already begun the transformation. Now I want to darken this background scene, and when I grab my adjustment, and let's use levels here, it actually created it on a separate layer. And this gives me total creative control because I could take this, I could apply it to the top of the stack, I could clip it to only the layer it sits on top of, I could always move it back and continue playing with my adjustments, never burning changes on my real pixels of my image. Just like Photoshop, it comes with the layer mask. So now I could go further into precision editing and start masking away parts of the scene that are a bit too contrasted, and now I've blended it even further together. Now the power of layers goes beyond what I've shown here, and it even extends to any layer that I drop in. So I'm going to drop in one more layer here and grab my gradient. Let's give it a bright neon green and a deep blue. And even here, I could play with different blend modes. I could experiment, see the live previews on the screen. It's very fun to play with. And I could go back, continue playing with my gradients. This looks pretty good. Tone it down a bit and see the final outcome. All right, so now I've got all the power, all the precision, and all the control I know of Photoshop here on the iPad. Thank you.
Thanks, Jenny. So we are thrilled to bring you Photoshop on the iPad, available in 2019. And it is just so exciting to think about the possibilities that open up when you can use Photoshop anywhere with all of your assets and your favorite tools at your fingertips. So this is what we mean when we talk about liberating your creativity. And we invite you to sign up to get notified as soon as Photoshop comes to the iPad. So what we're previewing is a huge milestone for the Photoshop team, for Adobe, and for the creative world. And it wouldn't have been possible without a legendary product like the iPad and our partnership with Apple. And so to mark this moment, I'm thrilled to welcome Apple's Senior Vice President of Worldwide Marketing, Phil Schiller.
Absolutely.
So welcome, Phil.
Thank you.
Welcome to MAX.
Hi, everyone.
So thanks for joining us.
Yes.
So bringing Photoshop to the iPad is only possible because of Apple's commitment to building an iPad for professionals. Can you talk a little bit about the evolution of the iPad Pro and how you see this product impacting the world of creativity?
I'd be happy to. But first, on behalf of everyone at Apple, I really just want to express how excited we are to be here at MAX with you, with the entire Adobe team. The Apple and Adobe relationship and work together goes back decades. As you all know, we've worked together creating tools for professionals on Mac and on iPad, and we all benefit from that great work together. At Apple, we care deeply about the evolution of iPad into increasingly a tool that's essential to a creative workflow. And that's why over the last few years, we've been creating the iPad Pro line. We've been building in it unique technologies like our A-series chips. We have special versions of that with the CPU and GPU performance for professionals. We've been building in displays unique for professionals, like our 12.9-inch Retina display with ProMotion technology. And really fun tools like Apple Pencil, which is perhaps one of our most advanced technologies, but it is so accessible and simple and fun to use. And Adobe has recognized that from the beginning. Adobe has understood the potential of iPad Pro, and actually you were on stage with us at the launch of the iPad Pro. Adobe was there from the beginning, and since then, our teams have been working together on some really amazing technology, and these announcements today are the beginnings of the world seeing the kind of work we're doing together and that Adobe's doing to create applications that are just going to be amazing on iPad, and they're going to appeal both to everyone who uses all your creative tools today, but also to, I think, a whole new generation of creators who are looking for an entirely mobile workflow and might want something that's even more accessible, even more intuitive and simple to use, and I think that's what you guys are delivering.
Well, it is exciting to see the teams on the software side really maximize what's possible alongside their colleagues on the hardware side. So it's really it's exciting to see the teams work together. So a few months ago, we were at a Worldwide Developer Conference, your event, talking about some of the work we're doing together in AR. Can you talk about the role and importance of AR at Apple today?
Sure. Thanks to Adobe for being at WWDC. AR is hugely important to us. We have a vision of where we think that will impact all of our lives. And I think you share that vision. And we've been hard at work on that. In iOS, we've built a framework called ARKit. And in just a year, that ARKit technology has advanced dramatically to make new experiences possible that couldn't be done before. And very quickly, iOS has become the world's largest AR platform with hundreds and hundreds of millions of iPhones and iPads that are capable with their CPUs and with their camera technology to deliver these amazing experiences. And Adobe's recognized that and been very supportive. You're the first to jump on and support the new USDZ file format that we've worked together with Pixar on. And you have a vision of the tools that creatives are going to need to then take this a step further and create content that all of the consumers are going to enjoy on these mobile platforms. And I think this is one of the most exciting things to come for the creative community, is the ability to create new AR experiences.
Well, we're excited, and we have some more news on the AR front to share with all of you a little later today. So finally, we have over 14,000 creative professionals here with us, many more viewing online. And with the tremendous success of a consumer device like the iPhone, what is the role of the creative professional at Apple today?
This is, I think, an important question and one that's near and dear to all of us at Apple. Creativity has been part of what is the foundation of Apple from the beginning, both internally with our own creatives as well as externally with all our mutual users and customers out there. As I think back on it, I know Steve showed us all the idea that people with passion can change the world. And those words mean a lot to us. And we think long and hard about what Apple's role should be in supporting Adobe and all of our the users out there. And it is that old line that Steve said, that we exist at the intersection of technology and the liberal arts. And that focus on creativity and the arts to unleash that passion, unleash that vision, is just as important to us today as it was from the very, very beginning. None of that has changed. What has changed is the technology. When we talked about that, we never envisioned a world where we'd be running Photoshop on an iPad Pro everywhere you are. I mean, that's just mind-blowing what's going to be created from all of these brilliant people with that. And so we're excited about it, we're enthused, and we just can't wait for this technology to get into everyone's hands and to create with the freedom to do Photoshop everywhere in the world.
Well, neither can we. Thank you so much, Phil, for your partnership. Excited for the years to come.
Thank you, too.
Before we forget, the Photoshop team got a little creative, as they typically do. We did make a little gift for you to commemorate this moment, both inspired by you being here and your love for bomber jackets, apparently. I don't know, I'm making that up. But it is a Photoshop MAX jacket. We were also inspired by one of the features we're most excited to bring to the iPad that people know and love here, content-aware fill. So
I will strive to live up to that.
A little gift for you on the way. Thanks again, Phil.
Yeah. Thanks, everyone.